Sky Pacha with the weekly Pele report, and this one is on Christmas. December 25th of 2019. This could be a little bit of a long report because there's just so much to talk about. Then the first thing is my Christmas presents. Miranda, my daughter, got me this amazing book, The Stars, the Definitive Visual Guide to the Cosmos. Wow. I'm going to just take you, I'm going to show off my Christmas present a little bit. And of course it starts out with what else is going on? Well, what else is going on is an eclipse. Today is the solar eclipse. The moon is still in the sign of Sagittarius for about 4 more hours, and then the moon goes into Capricorn. And there she is going to cross over about 6 hours after that. Okay, she moves about a degree every 2 hours. The sun is at 3 degrees, going into 4 degrees. And as you can see at the chart at the beginning of the report, it's done for the eclipse where it's at 4 degrees and 6 minutes. So it's actually like 8 hours. 8 hours and 4, about 12 hours from now, okay, we are going to have a solar eclipse. And that is where the moon, okay, the moon comes in between the earth and the sun so that we cannot see the sun. It blocks the sunlight. It breaks the auric field of the earth. And some say that that allows for, energies from deep space to come in. And so eclipses are always kind of associated with a bizarre, weird, unusual, unpredictable, sudden comings and goings and ins and outs. And one astrologer that I know, a good friend of mine, he said that eclipses are like an astrologer coming to visit and stay in your living room for a couple of days. Oh, man. So anyway, we start with the moon, right? And then we come to these outer planets. And of course, we know, that these outer planets are, well, we right now have Saturn, in conjunction with Pluto, which they are not calling a planet. This is, this is the latest and greatest kind of a thing going on now. So we know that that officially the astronomers are saying that Pluto is a dwarf planet. So there are not 10 planets now, there's 9, right? But what I really like in this book particularly is the photography. But as you can see, I also, in the, look at our sun. In the chart at the beginning, you will see that I also put the goddesses in there. The 4 asteroid goddesses, time to get the feminine in the picture, a little more Ceres, okay? An asteroid goddess who is just about the same size as Pluto, just about the same size as Eris. It was when they discovered Eris in 2005 that they declassified. Here's Pluto. They say he's a dwarf planet, right? There's a picture of Pluto. They finally put him in there, okay? But here's this asteroid belt where there's thousands of asteroids, and some of them are large enough, like I say, Ceres, okay, is an asteroid that's large enough. It's about the same size as Pluto. And it is also, she is in Capricorn, and Pallas Athena is coming into Capricorn, and Saturday Mercury is coming into Capricorn. I mean, we are having the Supreme Court. Everyone is gathering together in the court of Capricorn. Okay, coming up here, January is a very, very powerful month. Saturn will actually conjoin with Pluto during this month. This is just going through the entire zodiac. I wanted to just kind of show you this book a little bit. So there's some very beautiful pictures of the Orion Nebula coming around to Taurus, the bull, some more of these other beautiful, amazing pictures of the galaxy. One of the things that I really wanted to share with you today in particular, though, was just in case you think you have problems and you think that they're big problems. We want to, if it's one thing that astronomy does, is it kind of gives us another perspective on things now, doesn't it? Astrology and astronomy. And here we are. This is the Milky Way Galaxy. Whoa! And here it is, you know, it's actually a little more of a wafer there, but we're going around and around and around. And here is our solar system. Yes, indeed. And inside that solar system is our tiny, tiny, tiny little planet Earth. Oh my goodness. And so, to get on with a couple of other things before I get too lost in my book here. Okay, the sun does conjunct Jupiter on Friday, but it's basically like all week long. Pretty much for a couple of weeks, if you give a good orb. It really, the sun kind of, as soon as it entered Capricorn at the solstice, it was pretty much conjunct, and now it's just going to be bop, 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 till Friday. Direct alignment. Sun conjunct Jupiter. Yes. And then the sun moves on to conjunct the south node of the moon by Monday. Okay, so we have a sun south node of the moon. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. And Mercury, like I said, on Saturday moves into Capricorn. And by then, it keeps moving on. And what does it do? But by next Monday, it's in an exact square to Chiron in Aries and an exact trine to Uranus in Taurus. So I want to talk a little bit about this Mercury energy. I want to talk about this eclipse. I want to talk about all this stuff going on in Capricorn. But first, let's talk about the Big Bang. How about this, right? They say 13.8 billion years ago. And it's amazing how scientists, they write these books like things are just, like they know everything. It's actually quite arrogant. Because then they'll come out with a book a few years later and they'll say something different. But for now, in 2019, it's 13.8 billion years ago, and that's all there is to it, right? But this is kind of where we started. This is the Big Bang, and then out of that came the universe. Yeah. Okay. Let me look at the camera and just make a little more sense. All right, everybody. Well, I wanted to sit in front of the Christmas tree, but you can hardly see the Christmas tree. Oh, boy. Feliz Navidad for all of you. And, taking a little time here, we opened our presents and everything. And the other thing I got is a microphone. Yeah, one of these big fancy microphones for webinars and podcasts and everything. I'm going, yeah, baby. Stepping up the game. Anyway, yeah, I want to try to be positive because it's Christmas Day. And of course, it's nice to give a positive, warm message to my fellow brothers and sisters on Christmas, even though there's a number of disturbing items going on. And as we can say that, this a solar eclipse is a disturbing item where you can get surprises, shocks, just like things from out of the blue, like getting, what do they call that, broadsided. You're kind of going here, and then there's like, oh, well, wait a second, like a surprise gift from North Korea or something, right? So we're all kind of feeling a little bit on eggshells. It's like walking on eggshells, wondering, when something might crack, when something is not going to, be stable, solid, secure. This is what Capricorn is all about. And all of this gathering together and all of 2020 is, about, this restructuring, restructuring. And that is what the mantra today is about. So let's look at, what I'd like to look at is the positive aspects of Capricorn. And all of Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn coming together. You know, the moon is, in there now, and tomorrow, today and tomorrow and this, these next couple of days, the moon's going to be crossing over all of this. Mercury is coming to join the party, right? So, Ceres is in there. Pallas Athena is on her way. I mean, there's this huge gathering, and Capricorn has to do with authority, but it also has to do with law. And, it has to do with, it is an earth sign. Practical, tangible, realistic. If there's anything that I would say that we are really getting through 2020, and, now is kind of a preview of what's coming, and that is reality. Okay? Objective reality. End of illusion. No more rose-colored glasses, where we're going to be hit with this is what's real. This is what is happening. This is life and death on planet Earth. This is survival. This is money. This is economics. This is how things are happening to your physical body, with the climate change, with the plants, and with the storms, and with the, It's real, 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 real. It's like so freaking real, you want to go to Netflix. This is like too real. It's too real for me. Ah! Off to the playa, off to the beach. Oh my God. Let me get that bug out of here. Anyway, yeah. So this is like, a dose of this and a dose of that and a dose. And it's and not little doses. These are major doses of reality. And the end of illusion can be the end of fantasy, okay, the end of pretending, the end of hiding, the end of avoiding, the end of lying, the end of, secret. It's like things are just, bubbling up to the surface, and they're going to continue to bubble up to the surface. And, if we really look into very strongly, very clearly, okay, this time period and this solar eclipse is a time, it's a new moon. And it's just like, it's a huge new moon. Okay, and it's just, right on the heels, okay, of the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere. And so this kind of is really looking at, we can set the tone for what is happening. And if I want to talk about what is happening, to me, it's just like we have outgrown a pair of shoes. This is the image that came to me last night, when I was thinking, what am I going to say for the Pele report? It's like, you're just, you've outgrown the patriarchy. Human consciousness and our, evolution is taking us bigger, wider, and broader than the container that has been holding us. The way that we do government, the way that we do business, the way that we do relationship, the way that we do religion, it's too small. It's and it's like technology is showing us, okay, black holes, the origins of the universe. It's taking us outside of time and space, and we're just like really, expanding. Ayahuasca is taking us out of our minds, okay, and I mean, we're just like opening up in so many different ways, levels, and frequencies, okay, to just like, there's way more going on than can be explained by the church, or can be explained by the scientists, or can be explained by the pharmaceutical companies, or the governments, or the scientists, or the technology. It's just like, So things are really, opening, and that is creating a lot of pressure. If you, just try walking around in a pair of shoes that is too small for you. It's not comfortable. It's very uncomfortable. It's like I am getting squeezed. Ouch. This is too small, too limiting, to the point of being painful. I need a bigger set of shoes. We need to be looking at things from a bigger, wider, broader perspective. Looking outside, from history to the far future generations. We need to be lifting out of the present moment into, what are the long-term effects of 5G? What are the long-term effects of our trade negotiations with China? What are the long-term effects of, because as we become more powerful and more knowledgeable, and we have more influence in and of and around this physical world, we have to look at consequences. What are the consequences of our actions? Because the consequences now, when we're dealing with powerful energies, are having, super strong effects. Not only on the present, not only on our psychology and our minds and, our sperm count and, everything else, but on the future of life on this planet. I just finished reading an article, and here's what I want to be doing. I have a tab on my website. It's called Free. And I have put up there a lot of resources, and I'm going to maybe make a little of what is coming in the future. The robotics, the merging of artificial intelligence with humanity. I've got, a video on that. I have an article that I just read, thanks to Sandra. Thank you, Sandra. How they are now dividing up the ocean floor. There's huge amounts, billions of dollars being invested now in companies that are going to tear up the ocean floor, suck it up to their ship, take all the minerals out of it, and then spit it out again. And just go through the entire ocean floor. Okay, can you imagine the effect? It's going to basically kill all marine life. The sludge, just bringing completely turning our oceans into turbulent, massive. It's going to be an entire mess. So consider the oceans being rather wiped out, and then consider some of the other effects that are happening. Just in overall, Uranus moving through Taurus for 6 more years. Sudden, unexpected, shocking, surprising, conditions and situations having to do with physical. Taurus is an earth sign, survival, and our physical resources. So this is all about the money. If you haven't noticed, the billionaires all running for the office of president and all of the other billionaires running the corporations and, running all the technology and running all this, that, and the other thing. It's a money game. This materialism that we are going to find fulfillment, success, joy, and contentment through money. And who's got the money, who's making the money, how to get that. I mean, it's just we're looking at this, this kind of this separation. We can look at the masculine and the feminine. We can look at the patriarchy and the matriarchy. We can look at the outer and the inner, the black and the white. But what's really happening is a polarization so that we can see. And I'm an optimist, obviously. I feel like, you know what, we're going through the eye of the needle. We're going through the birth canal. We're going through, you know, it's like, okay, the shoe is too small. Our old belief systems, our old approaches, which lead to small-minded, narrow-minded solutions, okay, that are like, you know, like short-term. What's going to get us the first billion as fast as we can possibly get it? Let's do that. You know, whatever's going to get us, you know, I mean, it's just like money driven. It's basically instant gratification with no sense of what is going on through time. This is what Saturn is Chronos, time, in its own sign of Capricorn. You know, so my sense is this is the great reckoning. And this is this year of 2020, and set off like right now, it's like we are going to start seeing, people are going to start seeing, individuals, governments, corporations are going to be seeing, okay, some of the consequences of their past choices and what they've led to now, okay, global climate change, and, you know, ignoring it, denying it, you know, I mean, we can just only go so far. What I wanted to read to you, oh gosh, it's way over there. I wanted to read to you I got to do this. It's you know, the Sabian symbol for the eclipse. It's rather disturbing, and I shouldn't really do this on Christmas Day to you, but maybe a whole bunch of you are not watching the Pele Report on Christmas Day. You've got presents to open, and you're doing other things, and maybe you'll read this later. So just a second. It is the 5th degree of Capricorn. Since it's happening at 4 degrees 6 minutes, you always go to the next degree. I haven't read this book for a while. I may have some new listeners. This is one of my favorite books by Dane Rudyard, An Astrological Mandala. And there is a psychic gave a image for every degree of the zodiac. And the image that they gave is for Capricorn, the 5th degree of Capricorn is Indians on the warpath, while some men row a well-filled canoe, others in it perform a war dance. The keynote for this degree is the mobilization of physical and emotional energies in a spirit of conquest. And if we think of the United States, and we think of even not just the United States, but, you know, we think of Iran, we think of North Korea, we think of, you know, there's a number of different countries now rattling their, drums. War is often undertaken mainly to mobilize the common will and avoid individualistic disintegration. The Indian chief, in quotes, in the symbol for Capricorn 1 degree may find it convenient or necessary to arouse the war spirit, perhaps under a very slight provocation, in order to more firmly establish his authority. The scene presents an extremely dynamic situation. The group or the nation affirms its solidarity and unity of purpose by taking the offensive. The group life demands constant activity and challenges in order to remain healthy. This symbol suggests that aggressiveness may be a necessary ingredient in the activation of the potential of growth inherent in any social group. I think it was some other astrologer, or maybe it was in my dream or something, that said, you know what could very well happen is that Trump loses the election, but, you know, he starts a war just before the election to scare the heck out of everybody so that they vote for him, so that he, you know, carries us through the war. Or he loses the election and he just decides not to leave office. I don't think so. I disagree with that election. Those results are, false. I've decided. Yeah, I mean, this is a time period. Mars retrograde in Aries. This whole Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn coming into a square with Eris. Okay, the goddess of discord. I am going to be doing way more having to do with Eris. Way more to do with Chiron, moving through Aries, the wounded masculine, how to heal the wounded masculine, but if not healed, what is the wounded masculine capable of doing? Yeah. And then Mars coming around and triggering all of this, particularly in late 2020. But we're getting this kind of overall sense now that, you know what? We cannot allow and let, situations, let the future go out of control. Actually, Capricorn is about initiating, judgment, using discernment and discrimination, making laws, making rules. It is like the Supreme Court, like I said. Are we going to, follow the Constitution, break the Constitution, allow this to happen, not allow that to? This is a big, huge year of decisions. And the decisions that each one of us makes for ourselves. Let's just consider that the outside reflects the inside. And it's not all politics and news and technology and, Amazon and Facebook. Let's look inside. And this is a time for each one of us in our own life to really look at our values, what is integrity, what is moral, what is ethical. And we need to decide, we need to make decisions, we need to build our character and come into taking control of our destinies. And we're going to have this lunar eclipse 2 weeks from now. Okay, right? She's coming around. That full moon is also going to be, another eclipse. So we're in this eclipse season. And this is, this kind of sets the tone for the next 6 months. And it is just, this is the time for us. I encourage each and every one of you to just really step out of the shoe that is too small. Step out of your life that is too small. You're bigger than this. You're bigger than your problems. You're bigger than the news. You're bigger than, these beliefs. It's time to expand our sense of self, our own authority to become the authors of our own lives. In your relationships, in your job, in your social media, this is the time now to redefine ourselves and to really take a stand for who we are, for what we believe, for what we want our future to be. And, Saturn goes around every 28 years. I encourage us all, as we come into, the next Paleo report is on New Year's Day, where we get to make New Year's resolutions. Let's take the next 7 days and think about, where do you want to be 28 years from now? This is the, Saturn is, Saturn goes around every 28, 29 years. It's going to be 30 years or more before it catches up, to Pluto again. Saturn and Pluto is like a 40-year cycle. Where do you want to be 40 years from now? Or 20 years from now when Saturn is opposite Pluto. Just start kind of whoa. Who do you want to be with? What do you want to be doing? What kind of world do you want to be living in? What kind of food do you want to be eating? What kind of health, and what kind of shape do you want your body to be in? I mean, this is the time to write new contracts, to make new commitments to ourselves, to our partners, in business, in love, to our families. Okay, this is who I am, this is what I want, this is where I'm going, and from those choices, from those decisions, we can get clear and we can get straight about what serves our destiny and what doesn't serve our destiny. What relationships, what jobs, what food, just right down to the nitty gritty. This is a very good time for doing just that. Restructuring our lives, right? Changing who we are. Yeah, baby. So, considering that, yes, it's true. Like the plants and animals, I'm growing all the time and need to restructure, change, and expand if I am to truly shine. Like the plants and animals, I'm growing all the time and need to restructure, change, and expand if I am to truly shine. This can be like I spoke of last week with peeling the banana. There may be people, situations, jobs, conditions, countries, politics, currencies, whatever, investments, that have served us up until now and are not going to serve us any longer. And you may want to take what you have invested in and take it out of that investment, and it may be time to invest in something different. Hint, hint. So, enough. Namaste. Aloha. So much love.